Narrative and story are both things that are extremely difficult to get right in games. Observation then steps into this arena with some profound mechanics and great gameplay, fueled by a very compelling story. Now, as with my other videos, this, strictly speaking, is not a review. Instead, it's just a collection of my thoughts and feelings on the game itself, a game that drew me into its narrative extremely quickly, but managed to trip over itself a few times by descending to the occasional moments of frustration. That said, it is an unbelievable ride, and one that you may have to experience for yourself to truly enjoy. Simply put, the story is a major part of this game, and for that reason I've decided to show segments of the game from just the first 1.5 to 2 hours. Anything else risks undermining the best aspect of this game by spoiling the narrative. Observation then sets you on board a station of the same name. From the outset, the mission of the station is not clear nor obvious. The station itself is a form of futuristic international space station, and early on you are shown jointly inhabited but separated modules by the USA, Russia and China. Unlike the vast majority of games out there, you are not a player character as such. Instead, you awaken after a disaster has hit the station. Well, I say awaken, but I should perhaps say you come online, as you take on the role of the station's AI. Your goal, at least within the first sections of the game, is to assist the surviving crew member by performing various tasks around the station. Your perspective is controlled via fixed camera points through which you can cycle. You can also inhabit spheres, which are essentially camera drones. Ultimately, this game excels at what it sets out to do, and it does so in a number of areas. Firstly, the situations and puzzles are not only compelling, but they feel very realistic. And whilst many of them could be considered to be mini-games, they are no more so mini-games than you navigating the OS of your computer, phone or games console in order to achieve a specific objective. Secondly, the game conveys way more emotion than many other games out there, and it does this completely vicariously through Observation's main character, Dr. Emma Fisher. Thirdly, the ambience and environment are immensely immersive. In short, the entire situation feels very, very real. And fourth, the story itself draws you in, and it uses all the best formula of gaming to do this. Each of these 4 points ties together to make Observation a pretty unique game, comparable perhaps only to Lone Echo. Now I'm going to go over each of these points in order then. Firstly, onto the puzzles. The puzzles come in many forms, from having to power on various systems, open hatches or EVA out into space to perform repairs or analysis. These are often well thought out, but can occasionally be frustrating, and both of these for the same reasons. The game doesn't really guide you or hold your hands. A great example is your first EVA trip outside the space station. You're told to go and access a control panel on a station module EAS-03. The problem here then is that the station is pretty big, with dozens of different modules. Externally, at this point you have no map data, and no obvious way to get your bearings. Whilst the HUD does provide you with a set of coordinates for your current location, it doesn't actively give you any information on the coordinates you have to head towards. In short, not only is there no glowing lines and no map marker towards your destination, there's also no directional indicator or location information, full stop. Basically, you're left to find your own way. So ultimately, this is both refreshing and at the same time occasionally frustrating. Refreshing because, unlike most modern games, this forces you to use your brain. Frustrating because at times things can be a little on the complex side. It turns out that locating a tiny computer panel whilst navigating at the outside of a space station in 0G when you don't know the layout of the environment really isn't all that easy. Yet the culmination of this is that solving the puzzles or fixing the situation is extremely satisfying. The major downside for me isn't the frustration though. It's that some of these things can become dull over time. The slow panning of the fixed cameras is a great example of this. It's wonderfully immersive to start with. Later on though, when you really want to examine a room for the 20th time, the slow pace of the movement can become a bit of a drag. Yet that said, the game always manages to pull you on to the next section, and it does this through 2 other aspects of the game: the way it conveys emotion, along with the story. Now, I don't want to spoil the story here because it's a massive part of what Observation is all about. Suffice to say that right at the beginning, you find yourself in an unknown situation. The space station has been damaged and no one knows why. What's more, the station has lost all contact with anyone. And this is compounded by the fact that the station's AI, that's you, has had immense memory damage. And neither the station nor you, as the AI, are fully functional. Now, over time, you gather data, scan laptops and other resources, and reassemble some of your memory. Meanwhile, Dr. Fisher continues to attempt to repair the station, establish communications, and participates in all those other things you'd expect an astronaut to do in a hopeless situation like this. She, of course, enlists your help to do so. And again, the game really excels here. Emma Fisher is tremendously voice acted, and I defy anyone not to feel emotion for her situation.
Look, I know this makes no sense, and you'll probably just give me some broken response. But I'm glad you're here, sir.
I am here, Emma.
And yes, the ship's AI is voiced in that perfectly HAL 9000 creepy way. As the events continue to unfold, Dr. Fisher becomes increasingly attached to you as the ship's AI. After all, you are more or less her only form of consistent and constant communication, her only continuous lifeline. Except, are you really? And that's the rub. The real hook that Observation has. Not only are you the ship's AI, but your very embodiment of the AI as the player means that the AI now no longer is a calculated computer driven by emotionless algorithms. Instead, the AI is now driven by a fully conscious, fully self-aware individual. In short, this is interpreted by the game in one very simple way. The station's AI has become self-aware. In a society where AI is becoming an increasingly important aspect of our lives, and in a culture where there are so many stories of rogue AIs, Observation puts an amazing twist on things by placing you as that AI. For me, it's clearly one of the best things about the game, but it means Observation can in many ways be an insightful analysis of AI and all that goes along with it. It can step outside of the boundaries of gaming, and it can do so without becoming pretentious, and that's something that is extremely rare in sci-fi or indeed any other genre. Now, like I said, this video isn't really a full-on review. I don't want to go into extreme detail on the game mechanics here and its structure. Really, I just want to give a little insight on how this game feels. For me, it comes close to the perfect hybrid of a novel, movie and video game. It's extremely unusual, compelling and well executed, but it is interspaced with moments of frustration. But even with that, for me at least, it's one of the best examples of what narrative-driven gaming can be. And as someone that is always seeking great story-driven games, I really can't ask for much more than that. Now, Observation isn't by any means a long game. You can probably get through it in around about 6 hours or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on how you deal with the puzzles. So in short, yes, it's a very short game, but it's also a very good story. Fortunately, it's not too expensive either. Currently priced at $17.99 over on the Epic Store. With the Epic discount of £10, you can actually get it for £7.99. So very, very good price, I do personally feel. Although that said, it does mean you have to rely on the Epic Store. It's not currently available on Steam. So there we have it, my thoughts and feelings on Observation. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.